Hello and welcome to another An Old Man Watches. And today I'm going to be talking about Zombie Girl and Pathogen. Pathogen is a 2006 zombie film in which waterborne bacteria spread a lethal disease. And high school student Danny is understandably horrified by the sudden deaths of many of her friends and teachers. But she was also plagued, if you'll excuse the pun, by the feeling that the disease is somehow linked to recurring dreams that she has been having. When the victims of the disease begin to reanimate as flesh-eating zombies, Danny and her friends desperately seek a solution to the epidemic, all the while trying to stay one step ahead of the ever-increasing undead horde. That's Pathogen. 2009's Zombie Girl, meanwhile, is a documentary made by a trio of filmmakers chronicling the production of Pathogen. And the reason why they considered that film worthy of attention in this way is because Pathogen was written, directed, shot, edited, and produced by Emily Higgins, who is pictured on your screen, who was 12 years old at the time. She was 11 when she wrote the script, and 12 when she started actually filming, and I think 13 maybe by the time the film actually came out. So, there are two films to talk about here. There's Higgins' film Pathogen and the documentary about its production. Now, I've covered multiple films in a single video before, but it's always been like two or more films from a franchise. It's never been both a narrative film and a documentary. So things are going to be a little bit different in this video, but not that different, because I'm still going to talk about three things. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is, well, which of these do you watch first? I mean, obviously, if you only intend to watch Zombie Girl or only Pathogen, which is a perfectly valid decision to make in either case, this isn't going to be an issue for you. It's like, well, I'm only going to watch Zombie Girl because I'm really only interested in the documentary, or I'm only going to watch Pathogen because I like zombie movies, I'm not really interested in the documentary. That's perfectly valid. But if, like me, you intend to watch both of them, then you do need to make a decision. Do you watch Pathogen first or Zombie Girl first? On the one hand, Pathogen is presented as a bonus feature on the Zombie Girl DVD, which suggests that they expect you to watch the documentary first. And seeing the documentary first will probably help set reasonable expectations about Pathogen's level of production quality. On the other hand, the documentary inevitably contains spoilers for the film it's about, and it did come out 3 years after Pathogen. So if you want the purest experience, arguably it would be to watch Pathogen first. Finally, taking that approach lets you watch Pathogen entirely on its own merits without any opinions about the people making it. And that's ultimately what I decided to do. I flipped back and forth since then about which is the best approach. And I've kind of come up to the decision now that it's really up to the individual. Secondly, the question is Pathogen any good? Assuming you're going to watch it. And I feel I need to set some expectations. By all standard technical metrics, the answer to the question is Pathogen any good is no. The acting is clearly being done by amateurs, almost all of whom have never done anything else in film. There's one exception to this. There's an actor named Tyger Darrow who has a role in this, who did have a few minor professional credits at the time and who has continued to act. You'll be able to pick her out very easily if you do watch the film, as she's clearly much more comfortable in front of a camera than the others. The film also has numerous other technical deficiencies. There are continuity issues around what time of day it is. The dialogue sometimes becomes inaudible, and things like that. This is after a film where the special effects department is like Emily Higgins' mother. And ultimately, the script was written by an 11-year-old, 12 when she actually came to film it. So it's not the most nuanced or intricate of writing. Despite all that, I enjoyed Pathogen. Whatever its technical weaknesses, and there are many, it's clearly a labour of love, and Emily Higgins' enthusiasm and passion for the project shines through the flaws for me. I can forgive a lot of a film that's so obviously trying to be the best it can be, despite its limited resources. Like one of the things that I, constantly frustrates me about like asylum mockbusters is how lazy and don't care I feel like they feel like. I don't feel like the people making those movies are really trying to make a good movie. They're just trying to cash in on something. I do get the feeling like Emily was trying to make the best movie she could make, given that she was a high school student and a young high school student, working with extremely limited resources. And that counts for a lot for me. And then secondly, is Zombie Girl any good? And the answer there is actually yes, it is. It's a well-made documentary. It tells its story clearly. It does a good job of capturing the challenges of making a film with such limited resources, the passion of the young filmmaker to overcome those challenges, and the weariness that passion could sometimes inspire in those who are much less invested in the project. Pathogen took over 12 months to film, frequently in the homes of people who lived in the neighbourhood or on weekends at the local high school. And there'll probably be times in the course of the documentary where you can empathise with the evident desire of some of these other people in the face of Emily's insistence on one more take to just be done. This is ultimately a documentary about Emily Hagan's passion. It's about her triumph that whatever the flaws of the final product, she did get Pathogen made. And Miss Hagens, who is now nearly 30, which makes me feel very old indeed, has continued to work in the film industry. She's continued to write, she's continued to direct, most recently doing a segment in the 2020 anthology film Scare Package. And I think if you see Zombie Girl, you're not going to be surprised to learn that she continued to work in filmmaking. It obviously was a dream and a passion for her. And that, I think, is one of the real strengths of the documentary, is it does capture that dream and passion. So that is Zombie Girl and Pathogen. Pathogen is technically a bad film, but an interesting one. Zombie Girl is a very good documentary. Next time, I'm going to talk about a rather more big-budget zombie film, though certainly not one that is wholly without its own issues. 2004's Resident Evil Apocalypse. But that's next time. In the meantime, thanks for watching this one, and I hope you enjoyed it.